Kevin McCarthy has lost several rounds of votes and has lost more votes in each round. The first time in a century that the House did not elect a speaker in the first round of voting. The first time since 1923 that there have been so many ballots and a caucus that cannot decide on a speaker. Kevin McCarthy's losing streak is epic abandonment not seen since the cheap dye decided to escape from Rudy Giuliani's hair. In fact, I would give this a solid 5 dripping Giulianis on the fail scale. Losing streak, loser streaks. That works. Check out George Santos Goldbergstein trying to get into a political conversation here, trying to worm his way in. This is the best thing we've seen since Ivanka trying to do politics at the G20.
Yes, but this is about social justice. And if
it's all, yeah.
As soon as you start talking about economic
I'm sorry, why is she here? It is pouring MAGA tears. Former teen model and top Trump counsel, Hope Hicks. Yeah, I wonder why he hired her. Well, she has her damning January 6 text release. Kevin McCarthy attempts to smile while dying inside as he suffers loss after loss after loss. By popular demand, I have another hilarious holiday genuine page from Lauren Boebert's book, discuss the latest and stupid from the MAGA clown car, and more. America's best reason to keep your kids away from sports tweeted, "Inflation crisis, border crisis, debt crisis, bad energy policy, bad education policy, foreign policy disasters, military not hitting recruiting numbers, government weaponized against political opponents, all in 2 years under Joe Biden's watch." Naturally, I replied, why don't you list the many former wrestlers that got fiddled under your watch while you happily ignored the abuse? Jim Jordan's not fit to serve a cup of coffee, let alone the American people. The same political party that complains about the government not working show that they themselves cannot work together and never forget that. Even with endorsements from Mike Pence and Donald Trump, McCarthy is still losing. And because there's no speaker, the House has no order, and a lot of people are rambling and roaming around giving us great new C-SPAN angles, such as Jim Jordan's comb-over. I never knew. I guess this is another reason he has such a kinship with the defeated former president. New old tweets show that George Santos also claimed to be black, and I can't stop laughing at the daily embarrassments from the MAGA con artist who pretended his mom died on 9/11 and fabricated Jewish heritage without having any. Here is the tweet, and the best part is that someone actually had quote tweeted him and asked him, "How are you biracial? There are 3 races, black, Caucasian, Asian. Which 2 are you?" And to which he replied, "Caucasian and black."
I fully support George Santos. He's black, Jewish, and his mom died in 9/11, the day my building became the tallest in Manhattan.
This is really cool.
An official position. And I also found out that no one went in there and negotiated anything for me, but I haven't asked for anything for myself. You see, that's the difference, Steve. I'm not in there demanding Marjorie. I'm in there saying, for the American people, for the American people, for the American people.
I don't know what MTG had for lunch, likely a Trump diaper, but wow, if you want to drain the swamp, get rid of this crocodile and take Matt Gaetz with you so he can be the bird to peck that stuff out of your teeth. What is going on there? Hope Hicks first worked for Ivanka Trump's fashion brand, the Trump Organization, and her job with Donald Trump's presidential campaign transitioned into her position in the Trump White House, where she was Director of Strategic Communications, White House Communications Director, and then Counselor to the President.
When Hope Hicks wanted a White House job, I didn't look at her resume. I looked at her skirt and said, "You're hired," and then snapped one off in the toilet.
This is really cool.
The former teen model was in the highest tax bracket along with Trump's top aides, making as much money as Kellyanne Conway. She left the White House not long after the January 6th insurrection, and her private messages regarding that day were released as well with new video.
And what was Mr. Hirschman's response?
Mr. Hirschman said that he had made the same, recommendation directly to the president, and that he had refused.
Just so I understand, Mr. Hirschman said that he had already recommended to the president that the president convey a message that people should be peaceful on January 6th, and the president had refused to do that?
Yes.
We know he wanted the magnetometers removed and repeatedly said it was going to be a fight, but straight up having his own counselor say he didn't want them to be peaceful. Meanwhile, Tucker Carlson is still saying we need to get to the bottom of what really happened on January 6th. This is from this week.
Release the January 6th files, not some of the January 6th files and video, all of it. And not to some phony committee that will hide them, that in fact is designed to hide them from the public, but put them online, release them to the public directly, so that the rest of us can finally know what actually happened on January 6th, 2021. It's been 2 years. It's long overdue. It's our right as Americans to know.
2 years on, and he's still standing with his audience of married cousins insisting it was just a sunny day at the Capitol and we've all been tricked. Trying to outdo Lauren Boebert's Christmas gun pose Christmas card with a Trojan stapled to it, Madison Cawthorn got his fiercest looking friend to pose with them. He's on the couch to be more on Madison's level, but looking at those Cuban heels, he could have just taken the boots off and he'd probably be shoulder to shoulder with Madison, who's doing his best cold steel while posing with a bat. He thinks there's baseball in the Paralympics, and this picture is his prestige worldwide audition tape. I have no idea who his friend is, but I can only assume that he has a part-time gig at a fancy restaurant parking cars with that jacket. Honest question, has a pinky ring looked good on anyone ever? Has a girl ever been in a bar and seen a fella across the room with a pinky ring and thought, take me home? What are these clowns going for here? Let me know in the comments. New texts released by the House January 6th committee reveal Hope Hicks' message with Julie Radford, Ivanka Trump's chief of staff, regarding the fallout from Trump's actions. In one day, he ended every future opportunity that doesn't include speaking engagements at the local Proud Boys chapter. Yup, Radford replied, and all of us that didn't have jobs lined up will be perpetually unemployed, Hicks continued. I'm so mad and upset, she wrote, we all look like domestic terrorists now. You don't look like them, you are them. This made us unemployable, untouchable. God, I'm so effing mad. Hope Hicks worked for the Trumps for years and stuck with them through his entire injecting disinfectant Muslim ban administration, and now she cries about Trump being not so great and her being unemployable.
I was actually almost shocked at the number of suckers, and then I remembered, you know what? Saudi's billion-dollar investment into Jared Kushner when he flew over there on Trump Force One and walked away, Make no mistake, this is what's going on. This is just like two grown men that wanted sister to get rid of Jared the ruler. This is the first time she seems really eager to party hard, and Kushner's out of it. Jared gets the Ivanka beatdowns, the bad exotic positions, even the most explicit. Even the most explicit. And I'm stuck with someone that looks like Paul Stanley in a Bon Jovi wig. Ugh.
For those new to the show, I'm glad you found me. Thank you. For several months, I've been reading a genuine page from Lauren Boebert's book. I do this once a week, and it's been pretty wild. For the holidays, I'm going to jump over to one of the many Christmas sections. Let's get into it.
The chalkboard was covered in gambles for the annual Hide the Hamster, and the excitement at Lady Buns was as contagious as Jason with the Wise mystery sack rash after his trip to the oil field. This is what makes America, America. We have the freedom to enjoy hair metal, draft beer, and steak sandwiches while placing illegal bets on a wild hamster between hot pole dancers. In case you forgot, Jason won Mountain Dew in a poker game at a retirement home, so gambling is all this furball's ever known. Well, that, my purse, our trampoline, and the time our boys got into Mommy's glue, and he ended up a hood ornament for 2 days before I went for an oil change and got a real talking to from the fellas at Jiffy Lube. Thank God fur grows back, and a quick flash of the goods kept the boys from calling animal control. I peeled the cocktail napkin off my glass and used my eyeliner to doodle a little Denver Broncos cap and then put a 16 on top. I handed it to my manager, Craig, who looked at it confused. Okay, maybe he was just a bit tipsy here. Being in charge is super hard, and I know this wildcat has used a bottle or two to power through a shift more than a few times. Craig just stared at the napkin, and his stupidity here was getting kind of painful. Well, I'm not the best artist, I told him, shrugging and then tipping the rest of my Coors in my mouth, or the old corncob face hole, as Jason calls it when he dims the lights. Craig asked me, What exactly am I looking at here, Lauren? I snatched the cocktail napkin back and mansplained the situation to him. You told me to draw a number from a hat. That is a Broncos cap, and I went with 16 because it's Jason's lucky number. Draw a number from a hat. I did. Craig stared at me, and then his lips trembled. His face was turning red, and he was hanging onto the bar for dear life. I thought I was going to have to ring the donut squad to give him the CPR. I got out my phone to make the call, and then Craig burst out laughing. It was the uncomfortable kind of laugh, like when Jason's ankle monitor battery runs low and starts to beep when he's in the ball pit at Chuck E. Cheese's, but I guess Craig wasn't used to having a morning hot woman put him in his man place. Checkers mate, buddy. LOL all you want, but when I take home first prize, I'm putting it towards some big fake teeth instead of relying on bottles of whiteout for more than just the fun smell. It was like a fairy tale.
If you've enjoyed this genuine page from Low Rent Booze Burp's latest book, let me know in the comments, and I'll see about reading another page next week. Thank you. Look at Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago New Year's Eve entrance. The band is playing a song, and his guests are so over him. They're just more interested in their cocktails than the presence of a defeated former president. This guy hasn't even turned around. He does not care at all. You will be much happier when the House and Senate are Republican ran.
MAGA tears.
Oh boy, a new left site filled with fake news sheeple showing their ignorance via the comments.
MAGA tears.
Let's go, Brandon. Biden gas prices have dropped $1.39 since I took office when it was $5. Only liberals believe this BS.
MAGA tears.
MAGA! Exclamation marks.
MAGA tears.
Thanks so much for watching. Help me out by sharing this video or posting it on your social media and following me on mine. It costs you nothing and makes a huge difference for me. I am a one-man show here, from script to screen, the editing, even the graphics. So if you can afford to, please throw me a tip with the easy PayPal link or smash that super thanks button, and be sure to check out my mugs and stickers that go great with those MAGA tears. I am a stand-up comedian. I've played in 35 countries and have toured with Jim Jefferies for several years. I have 3 albums. You can stream them on Spotify, Apple Music, or catch them on SiriusXM. Thanks for watching. Life's short. Be cool, be kind, take care.